Hi guys, welcome back. This is the latest episode of Electric Mobility, and today here in Munich we're reviewing the Porsche Cayenne S E-Hybrid. This is our first SUV that we're reviewing. It's a luxury premium plug-in hybrid SUV made by Porsche. It's already out for around 2 years, but today we've got our hands on it, so we really want to share this with you and show the car to you, as you can see in the background. It's a pretty large car. It's 1.70 m high and 4.85 m long. So this is really a family car with proper 5 seats and in the SUV segment with all-wheel drive. The Cayenne S E-Hybrid weighs 2.3 tons, so just a little bit heavier than the normal Cayenne, for example the GTS or the normal Cayenne S, but it's got 416 horsepower combined. So this is really a powerful machine, deriving 333 horsepower from the V6 in the front and 95 horsepower on top coming from the electric motor, which is integrated in the gearbox. So this is an all-wheel drive car made for snow, made for wintry conditions. Unfortunately here it's already melted over a bit. The ice is still there on the Olympic rowing regatta course here. But this is really a car perfect for wintry conditions and for slippery slopes, so to speak. So yeah, 416 horsepower in total, so pretty powerful, which makes the car accelerate from 0 to 100 in 5.9 seconds and reaching a top speed of 243 kilometers an hour. Otherwise, you can go all electric up to 125 kilometers an hour, and the car's got an electric range of 38 kilometers in the NEDC cycle. Here you see the accent. This is the E-Hybrid moniker that Porsche uses to differentiate this car. Otherwise, this is from the outside a pretty typical Cayenne. It's got the LED, the 4-point LED driving lights and the xenon high beam. Like we said, Porsche is differentiating this car with green accents. You see here the E-Hybrid symbol and the green brake calipers behind those 21-inch turbo wheels. And if we look at the back, you see it's got 4 exhaust pipes, so pretty powerful setup. And it's got the Cayenne S logo here. The trunk, we can have a quick look in. Some stuff lying in there, but it's a pretty large trunk. The battery here is underneath the boot. There it is, 10.2 kilowatt hour Bosch battery. I'm surprised they're just putting it in here like that, so like people can actually touch it. I mean, obviously it's still safe, but it's very easy to reach, maybe for maintenance. But yeah, you see lithium ion, recyclable. And you see that it's a Bosch battery. Here we've got the charging cable in there as well. Porsche's got a very nice charging cable that lets you charge on industrial sockets and Schuko sockets, and it's got this sort of big controller here, which we'll test later, where you can steer the charging process and set the amps that you want to charge with. It's a pretty heavy box, but it's nicely designed. Alright, so that's the boot. Quite a lot of space, comparable to a Tesla or the Passat GTE in terms of space. Yeah, but it is obviously a huge SUV, so you expect that. You do lose a tiny bit of room from having the boot floor a bit higher due to the battery, but it's flush. Like you see, there's no step, so this is really nicely done by Porsche. Up here, close the boot. And let's have a look at the interior. So the interior is very nicely done, typical Porsche design. Sports seat, leather. This is the black edition. Here again we see the Cayenne S in green. And as you have with Porsche, the key is actually here on the left. Sports steering wheel with remote controls for telephone and navigation. And something that I really find interesting, this is the exact contrast to the Tesla, that it's almost like a cockpit. You've got a bunch of buttons here, from temperature control, fan control, the seat adjustments, seat heating, and here this is the interesting stuff that I want to talk about later when we drive. The different suspension modes, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, different height adjustment, and the e-Power mode, e-Power and e-Charge, which basically steer the electric mode that you're driving, and whether you want to charge the battery or whether you want to draw power from it. The instrument cluster is Porsche typical, round instruments, the ref counter in the middle. Here we've got a power meter that says if we're charging or sailing, as they say. Here's the battery status, so we're just below 50. And here on the right you've got a little supplementary screen which shows we've got 6 kilometers of electric charge left only, which just seems a bit little. Half a tank. Speed limit. Here you see the power meter, how much the electric motor is supporting, and you see the energy flow. The in-car entertainment we'll have a look at later. It's a new tile-based system which seems to be very intuitive, touch-based, and that's quite nice, I find. We've already paired the phone, so you can dial numbers. It's a bit similar to Volkswagen but a bit different, so we'll have a look at that later in detail. If we look at the back, plenty of room here. 3 seats. The middle one is sort of like a bench. Those 2 are like proper sports seats, also with the embossed, and you even got a little climate control screen there. We'll have to see what that does later on. But in terms of interior finish and interior quality, very, very high. I mean, just to say, this car costs 86,000 euros in the base, so that's about the same price as a normal Cayenne S, so you only pay a small premium for having the hybrid system on board, and you do get that sort of distinct driving modes. But we'll have to see how this car drives, so we'll take it for a spin. Let's go. Alright, so we're cruising down the motorway now. We just want to explain to you quickly the different driving modes that we can use here in the motorway use case. So right now we're in the normal hybrid mode, so that means the car automatically decides when to use energy to boost or when to use energy from the petrol engine to propellers. And right now we're in 2000 RPM. So what we can do now is we can put the car in sport, and then the engine goes straight to 3000. And you can hear that it's a lot more powerful and a lot more aggressive than if you press on car. It's a hybrid screen. So right now we're in the normal hybrid mode, so default setting. And you see on the screen that the green arrows are basically energy recuperating, and the blue arrows is energy coming from the battery. So here the engine is running. If we turn off the e-charge, you see the ref counter goes down to 0, and now we're just coasting. If we press it into e-power, you see e-power activated, and you see we've got 9 kilometers of battery range, and now we're staying electric even though we're driving 80 kilometers. So let's see how hard we can push it. 90. It should go up to 125. Cayenne E-Hybrid's got all-wheel drive. We can see this here. It's got an amazing amount of traction, pulling the front wheels and the back wheels. The whole car is sliding, but it's pulling by the front wheels. recuperating energy on the downhill, gaining power through recuperation. Sport mode and all settings on sport. The battery is almost discharged, but we're just pacing it through some country roads. The car is sporty, but it is not a sports car, so the handling and everything is not super stiff. It's still quite comfy on the seats, but you can obviously hear the engine roar like 3,000–4,000. Suspension in the car is very soft, like as a passenger you don't feel the bumps. What you do feel though is that the car has a lot of body roll when you go quickly around the turns, so it's not like a very stiff suspension. It's not a sports car suspension because you can feel the weight of the car kind of pushing you through the turns and making the car roll, and not like creating a very direct turn in. So if you buy this car expecting like a crazy sports car Porsche, you will be disappointed, but sort of more as a comfortable family car that gets you on country roads from A to B in a quick and efficient manner, I think then that's the right car. So we've got here to a fast charging station by the motorway, Tank und Rast. They've built up these fast chargers on many motorway service stations. Here we see it. It's the EFASEC QC45 fast charger, installed by RWE. Tank and Rast has installed these on many major motorways, and now we can see if we've got 3 plugs to choose here from. The Shademo plug for Japanese cars, the combo plug for BEVs, for pure electric cars, and the normal Type 2 AC for Renaults, Daimlers, and also hopefully this one. So this is the plug. Let's see if we can use it. Stick it in. Yeah. There's a screen, okay. We have 3 to choose from. We press the normal Type 2. Start charging. And it is charging now, isn't it? Yeah. Blinking green. So let's have a look inside the car how that looks. So where do we actually see that this car is charging? So here's the energy flow diagram. It shows we've got 5 kilometers left. We're in e-power mode. Here it shows the battery status. We're on 50%. And here we see how much we've driven in zero emissions. We've used 43.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers and 13 liters of petrol, and we've driven 22 minutes in zero emission mode. But we don't see that it's actually charging. So inside the car nothing actually shows that it's charging. But when we have a closer look, we see that it's charging on here, the green blinking, and we can see it on the station. Oh yeah, we see that it's charging here. 0.15 kilowatt hours and charged for 2 minutes. So there's something happening. We don't have very much time, but it's nice to see that anyway. Charging with 7.2 kilowatt from a station which can do a maximum of 43 kilowatt AC and 50 kilowatt DC. And the nice thing with the Cayenne is that it's supporting 7.2 kilowatt charging compared to the other plug-in hybrids which only do 3.7. Alright, so we've driven about 150 kilometers with the Cayenne S E-Hybrid, and here's our summary. The car is a very big, sizable family car. It's quite spacious. It is not a sports car as such. If you're looking for a thoroughbred sporty Porsche, then this is probably not the right choice. What it is, however, in comfort mode and electric mode, very comfortable, very quiet, very nice to cruise at a sort of speed of 50-60 kilometers. And if you put it in sport and you want to race down some country roads, that it can also do quite well. But don't expect it to be like a crazy hard suspended sports car, but more like a family car that can also adapt to that. The electrical range we couldn't really max out today because it was basically not fully charged. Should get you around 30 kilometers. Charging works really well. This is the only plug-in hybrid that can do fast charging, as we can see here. So yeah, if you're looking for an SUV and you've got 86,000 euros to spare, this might be a good choice. We'll be reviewing the X5 and the XC90 next, but this definitely seems to be on the sporty end and the more expensive end of things compared to those cars. So thanks for tuning in to the latest episode. It's been fun, and we'll be back, so take it easy. Bye bye. So we're almost at the end of our drive, and we are using the last